All right, everyone. All right, everyone. Welcome to elvinpizarro.com. We're here in the studio with Mr. TJ. Mr. TJ, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, my man?
Yeah. Man, it's really good to have you in the studio today, man. Yeah. For those that don't know, TJ and I are really good friends, but we're also co-workers. TJ and I, when we work the same floor at an undisclosed location, we're not going to talk about where we work at.
Classified.
Completely classified. Even though I'm sure people will figure it out.
Oh, yeah, eventually.
But we'll leave that for another podcast. As a matter of fact, I want to do another podcast with you about our line of work.
Oh, yeah.
So we can get specific about things.
Oh, yeah. We're going to dig deep. We got the shovel. We digging. Yeah.
And for those supervisors that are watching, just know that we do conversate when we have downtime.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. We still do our job.
We do
so
our
we're
thing.
All good.
And we do it well.
Oh, yeah. Very well.
All right. Very good. But we whenever TJ and I are working the same floor, we engage in some very deep conversation. And I'm talking about deep, right?
Oh, yeah. Super deep, man.
And we talk about everything from relationships. We talk about our personal lives. And sometimes we can tell when we're having a bad day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We kind of feed off each other. And, you know, I'm like, because you come with a certain energy, man. It's like you got like a ball of, an invisible ball of energy around you that's just positive, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could kind of tell sometimes when that's penetrated a little bit, whether it's by outside forces or forces within, you know, where we work. So I like the chemistry we've always had, you know, when we work together, we can feed off each other. Those are the best people that you want to work with. Oh, yeah. And also have relationships outside of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the same with you, man. You can kind of tell and we feed off each other. Yeah. And I can tell when you walk in, man, you're just like, oh, this brother had a really bad day.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and and then that's when we sit and we talk about it. Oh, yeah. You know, and I like that we can talk in a personal level in a point where we can, at the end of the conversation, you and I, you know, I especially speaking for myself, I feel better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes we just got to let it out.
Yeah. Sometimes we just feel like we're alone, you know, on this journey called life. But, you know, we all have trials and tribulations we go through. And it's just good to talk about it, man, especially for, you know, men of color. Yeah. We were taught we can't express ourselves, keep it all in. If we had the worst day ever, we have to go outside and, you know, and talk to a tree before we talk to another individual about our feelings and our, you know, just how we feel internally, just about life, personal stuff, just work, whether it's your deep personal desires or just anything, you know, that you're just inflicted by. We were told not to talk about it and we'd have to deal with it because we're men.
Exactly.
And that's not a good narrative to spread because we're all human beings. And it's just like you get a bottle, say this was a bottle of Coke and you just keep shaking it up. Gradually when the top's going to pop. Yeah. And when it pops, we can put that outlet out in a negative way that can alter our lives, which in our environment, which we'll discuss, you know, at another time. A lot of the guys in that environment, you know, they weren't taught that. Yeah. So it's really good to promote that, especially for young black men or men in general, but, you know, especially men of color, because we're just told to just be resilient and just keep it pushing. And we just got to change the narrative overall.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up because, like, for example, me, a man of color, you know, coming from, you know, Puerto Rico. Yeah. Us men, especially us Puerto Ricans, we have a kind of a machismo persona about us. Yeah. Where we feel like we can't talk to other men about our problems. Yeah. If we talk to other men about our problems, that makes us weak. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
it's actually the opposite. Vulnerability is the ultimate sign of strength. Like, one of the things my mom, she instilled in me, she said, if you have a problem, when I was a little kid, when you have a problem with something, never hold it in. You know what I mean? Just whether you write it down, always express yourself. Whether you do art, whether you do poetry, whether you sit here and talk to me, just never hold it in. Don't be quiet. Speak your mind. But you know, it's not what you say. It's the way you say it. And it's the way you express yourself. You can't express yourself in a volatile or negative type of way. It has to be in a productive manner. Because not only are you getting it off your chest, but you're also you're just being vulnerable. And so many people are like robots in the world. They want to be robust and they're programmed to just be away. And that's not how it works out. We're human beings. There's air we breathe. There's blood going in between our veins. We have feelings, you know, and you just can't hide that, man.
Absolutely.
You gotta express that. You got to put it out there. And for me personally, like, you know, I'm into poetry. I write a lot of poetry, a lot of expressions, painting. There's a lot of creative outlets like photography. There's so many outlets to where I could tell a story.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was taught that very young by my mom. So I give her all the praise, all the credit, because, you know, I have a tough love mama. Like, she's kind of both. It's like, she's like the Sour Patch Kid. You know? So I tell her something's wrong. Well, she's like, well, that's life. You need to learn how to deal with that. And then she's like, then she gets soft, and then she provides suggestions, and it's a productive thing, you know? So I don't feel like a lot of men of color have that option, you know? Yeah.
Is your mother here? Sorry to cut you off. Is your mother still here in Racine?
She is, yeah. She's a retired college professor.
Yeah.
It's ironic. She taught sociology. That was her main course to a lot of freshmen and also like sophomores in college. Yeah. That was like her niche. Yeah. And they loved her, man. They were like, man, your mama keep it real, man. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm really blessed, you know, to have a woman. She's a remarkable woman, and she instills a lot of value in everything. And, you know, the man you see before you, like, I wouldn't be here without her. Yeah. So, you know, what's up, mama?
So we're talking about your mother. I want to dig in about your dad. Is your dad still around? Is he still in your life?
Yeah, my parents, they've been married for, I don't know how long. It's been a minute. Yeah. But my dad, he's a retired businessman as well. He did insurance for the longest. He sold insurance to pretty much everyone in the city, man. Yeah. So he, excuse me, he's a very like, he's a pillar like in the community. Yeah. And he wants to do something else. He's still trying to figure it out, man. He's trying to going through the motions because he started at Allstate. Yeah. Which is like one of the biggest insurance companies, you know, in the country. But he started off like in the call center. Then he got promoted to like marketing. Then he was like a senior marketing manager. And he just kept rising above the corporate ladder. And then he got laid off. Yeah. And then he took the money from the severance package, and he was like, I want to be my own boss. I'm an ambitious guy already. Yeah. It's gotten me this far, so let me see how far I could take it. Yeah. This is all I know. He never went to college. I think he did go to college. He attended a few classes, but he had an opportunity back then it was like, what are you going to school for? Just get a job. Yeah. And, you know, so that's what he did. And so he doesn't have any formal education besides like a high school diploma. Yeah. But he went pretty far with it. He got his own, he took the money from the severance package, and he opened up his own agency. And he's had his agency. He had a good run for like 20 years. I think he started in 2000. And man, so he that's all he knows. So now he's at the point where, how old is my dad? Like 55, 56. So he's at that point. He wants to just do something for him.
That's awesome, man.
You know, but he's an awesome guy as well. He taught me a lot. Yeah. Growing up, you know, as a little boy, you know, your dad is like your superhero.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, you look up to not a lot of men of color have a father figure. You know, a lot of us were raised by single moms, and I was fortunate enough to have both parents in the household. Yeah. And but I used to watch my dad. He used to be suited and booted, man. Yeah. Like, he used to just, man, like he named one of my brothers Armani. Yeah. He loves his Armani suits and stuff. And he was just like I learned a lot, like your cologne, just your presentation, just how to talk to people. You know, that's really where I got the game from. You know?
I'm glad you bring that up because I see how you're dressed now, and you guys see how he's dressed today, man. You dress sharp, bro. You're a sharp brother.
Oh, this some light work, man. You know.
But the one thing I took about of that is that your dad he had a great work ethic, and I can tell that he passed it along to you. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Because I remember in some of the conversations that you and I had, you talked to me about fashion. Now, let me tell you something, brother. Yeah. I knew you were in fashion the first day I met you.
Okay. At
work? Because I remember, I forgot how the encounter happened, but I remember I saw you, and the first thing that came to my head is like, this brother must have his uniform tailored, man, because it fit just right, man. I'm like, and you had the accessories to go with it. I'm like, man, this guy, he's a fashion guy.
Yeah, it's funny, man. So when I first started at the job, you know, we were wearing like black polos and stuff. Yeah. And, I like that because we have to provide that on our own. So I'm like, all right, so it's not like some off-brand polo that they give us and it's ill-fitting and it fits terribly. I'm like, all right, I can wear my own. And I do have a tailor. So, I'm like, okay. So when I finally got my uniform, my shirt and stuff, I took it out the package and I looked at it. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't it. This ain't me. I was actually supposed to wear the uniform like that night that I got it. I'm like, nah, I got to do some things to this before I wear it. So I was like, I got to get right, man. So I went to my tailor. They chopped it, and and then I came back to work. Everyone was like, my uniform don't look like that. What you do to yours? And I'm like, hey, man, get at me. I can help you. But the sloppy presentation. I hate that, man. And, the excess fabric and all that, but ultimately it's funny that you said that. I never noticed that some people say that to me. They're like, something's different about your uniform. The fashion thing, man, that's where it's at, man.
Now, you told me one time that you have a business, correct? And you
currently still do.
Yeah. And you have, you show men how to dress, essentially. Well, explain that to me, because I'm not really familiar with that.
So pretty much, I'm an image consultant for men specifically. I'm going to get into the women, but women are just more complicated than men. I don't say that to offend any women, but from a fashion standpoint, because women have like literally 12 different body shapes. Men, for the most part, have 3 different body. You have a deviation every now and then, but for the most part, it's 3. So I'm an image consultant for men, specifically for suits. It started off, like I said, my dad. That's where the first love for it came from. Just looking good and just seeing the responses from people, especially being a man of color. Like they're used to seeing us in hoodies, and T-shirts, and just looking like thugs, pants sagging and stuff. And I don't even think I've ever sagged in my life. Man. It just didn't feel good. I didn't like the extra air coming in back there, So, it started off with that. And then I went off to college, and I was like known as the kid that always had on suits and stuff. And, like my classmates, they would have T-shirts, they would have jeans on, and they'll come to work just hungover and stuff. And I'd come with a press suit, and just people were just thrown off by that. They used to think I was a professor sometimes, And I literally tell them, no, I'm just like you, man. I'm trying to get this degree as well. And they're like, well, why do you wear? And the question is always, why do you get dressed up, or why do you? To me, I challenge that person. I'm like, well, the real question is, why not?
Right.
Like you're a walking, talking billboard. You're an advertisement for yourself. Not saying that clothes are everything, because you have to be an individual of character as well. Yeah. The clothes don't make the man make the clothes. Right. But clothes help. Yeah. Because it's like a neutralizer, right? So say you're out somewhere and you see 2 young men. One of them have a hoodie on and, some sweats and some tennis shoes or whatever, and a fitted hat or whatever, not a bad casual look. But then you see the other guy, he has a nice blazer, nice pocket square, and he has a smile on his face. He smells good. What person are you going to gravitate to more? Right. Like you can have, and especially with men with color, people already have perceived notions of us, so I say it's a neutralizer, because you see the 2 gentlemen, you're going to be less threatened by the individual with the suit, because it's powerful, because without even opening up my mouth, you see what I have on. It speaks for my character.
They can tell a lot about you.
Right. So then it's like that person's like, all right, well, they look apart. Well, let me pick their brain and let me talk to them and see what type of person they are. Versus the other guy, you'll be less likely to engage with him, because you feel like he has nothing to offer. He may look more aggressive or unapproachable. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's a perception thing. Perception isn't reality, but it is.
So what exactly, going back to the image consultant, what exactly does an image consultant does?
Yeah, so image consultant basically deals with individuals who they may want to revamp their closet. They may be socially awkward. and not know how to dress, never wore a suit in their life ever. Yeah. So they have a special event and they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So where I come into play, I'll get the guy who never has worn a suit. Me and my guy, we tag team, and his name is Enzi. Shout out to Enzi. He's actually in Nigeria right now. Okay. He's a gifted tailor, man. Like his numbers, the way he just creates a silhouette for a body. He's gifted, and he was self-taught by his dad, and then his grandfather. It just went down the family tree. So it's like it was almost innate within him. So he was the tailor, and I'm the stylist. You know, I put the fabrics together. Well, figure out what's your vibe. Do you like double-breasted? Do you like a single button? Do you like, is it a black tie event? I figure out what type of format. And then I'm like, well, what kind of colors do you like? And then I contrast the colors, pick the fabrics, and then we put it all together, and then we make bespoke suits.
So do you have to gather all this information from a person? What does that do, the information that you gather from that person?
It tells me a lot about ultimately how comfortable they are. Because a lot of guys are, you know, it's very intimidating wearing a suit. Either what I find, a lot of guys are very intimidated, or they just they're not comfortable in suits. So I try to meet both of those aspects and marry them, put it in the middle. So the guy that's never wore the suit before, literally, like I just talk to him, man. I just get, what type of colors do you like? What type of vibe are you? What's your personality? Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Do you want to play with color? Are you more basic? Do you like neutral tones? So I tap into the brain so I can figure out what type of suit to make for that individual. Because when you feel good, or when you look good, you feel good. When you're comfortable, you feel good. You get more out of life. You get more out of, you walk a little different. You know, your swag's a little different. So I just pick their brains, man, get to know them. I figure out what they do, figure out just certain various things that I go. So it's like we meet, it's like I consult with them. And then that initial meeting, I take all my notes and stuff, and then I pull out my book with the fabrics and show them, you know, the possibilities, and I sketch it out, show them, and then, you know, I talk to Enzi, and then he comes in, he measures them and everything, and then you'll get a suit you'll get a suit within like 4 to 6 weeks, depending on like the availability of each fabric.
That was actually my next question. I was going to ask you from point A to point B. As soon as I meet you and talk to you, how long does it take for me to?
4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. The most 8 weeks. Like 2 months at the most. I try not to stretch it out any longer than that, because there was a lot of guys at work who they found out what I do on the side, and they're trying to like that. I have a wedding in 2 weeks, and I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Like it's a process. But individuals who I can't get suits for, say the timing is bad, I offer my image consulting, which I'll go with them as a personal shopper. You know, like I already know what their dimensions are, their sizes, and then I know their color scheme, what they like, what their vibe is, and I'll just pick out. Literally, they're just chilling in the store, and I'll just do my thing, and I'll be like, hold my beer, no, hold my wine, you know, and then I'll go over there and, you know, I'll swap it out, play with different looks and stuff, and then you know, because these guys, they've never worn a suit. They don't even know how a suit should fit. They don't know anything. So I'm that person that gets them from that point. I get them across that bridge, and, you know, I get them right.
Man, that's an interesting job, man. I'm telling you, because I'm not a suit guy, man. Let me tell you something.
I can look at a guy and tell. I can look at a guy and tell his dimensions and stuff. You know, it's just, it gets easier with time. I feel like I had a woman approach me recently, and she was like, well, you do a lot of this for the men. What about the ladies? You know, and she's actually in law school. She's in her last year of law school, and she's really into suits. And I'm like, man, I love how a suit looks on a woman.
Can a man dress a woman? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Really?
It goes both ways. Because you see a lot of stylists. Most stylists in the industry are women, you know, and they dress rappers or actors or, you know, costume designers for movies and stuff. They're mostly women. It's a female dominated industry, but I feel like men, I feel like I can, like me and my girlfriend, we go out and she's like, I'm not picking anything out. Like she trusts me that much where she's like, I know like your sense of style, you know me, and you know we do the same for each other. Yeah. So it's fun. It's like playing dress up, man. Yeah. Honestly, but yeah, a man could definitely dress a woman.
That's interesting, man.
So it's kind of different, but I mean, almost kind of the same still. Yeah. Because you have to. Just the construction of the suit is different for a woman, but it's pretty much the same concept. Yeah. So I don't treat, it's kind of genderless to me. You know? Like individuals, I've seen a lot of women wear suits and they wear suits very well. Yeah. You know, like they still have a nice silhouette with their body. And, you know, they wear it in like a sensual type of way. So it's just a matter of class, man. Like you can't buy class, you can't buy taste. So it's just, you have to marry those two aspects.
Well, let me ask you something, Lambert, because let's say me individually, I'm a Kmart, Walmart guy, dude. I don't,
nothing you can wrong with that. I won't knock you.
Well, as a matter of fact, let me go deeper than that. Yeah. I hate shopping for clothes. I hate clothes. I'm not a clothes person. As a matter of fact, the clothes that I do wear is usually picked out by my wife. Okay. You know, or it's given to me, you know, during Christmas or birthday parties or whatever. I'm not a clothes guy.
You're like, oh, this tie.
Yeah. Somebody gave me a tie. I'll be wearing that for your wedding next time. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have that personality of, you know, I need to dress like you're dressed right now. You know, you're dressed amazing, sharp, man. You know, and
I appreciate it.
But the thing is, now, correct me if I'm wrong. I always wondered why men, especially men of color, they feel like they're not that they have to dress like that. But I never understood the mentality behind it. I never understood why men of color love dressing like that or dressing like you're dressed right now with the white, you know, what do you call that?
Linen blazer.
Blazer and stuff like that. You know, the gold chain, you know, the colors. I mean, you look sharp, man.
Oh, appreciate it.
I've seen men just in a normal day. They don't have nothing going on, dressed like you dress right now. So explain to me the mentality behind it. Why do men feel they have to dress like that? Because I have my own, you know, reasoning behind it. Right. And let me tell you what. Let me tell you what I think. And you correct me if I'm wrong, brother. Yeah, I think that men, because it could go both ways. Yeah. It could be a cultural thing, right? Because I've never seen a white man dress like that. Well, maybe I have, but you know, they feel the way I feel. Like they have to dress like that. It's an occasion and things like that. Yeah. But another thing is men dress like that because they try to attract the opposite sex. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. What is the reasoning behind it? Or it could be a cultural thing. Well, I mean, what is it?
I think for me personally, like I said, I go back to my dad, watching him get ready for work. Yeah. Spraying, he used to bathe in his cologne. He'd lay out his suits like the night before, he'd press them. Yeah. I feel like, and then I watch how he'd leave the house, and it'll be like a sense of pride, man, you know? Yeah. So I feel like that's where it's deeply rooted. It really starts with your background. Yeah. You know, I was exposed to that. Now, if I was exposed, say like I was raised by a single mother and I never was exposed to that, could things be different? Could I still be the same person that I am today? There's a slight chance, but there's the majority of it, you know, I think that I'd probably not, you know, because I wouldn't be exposed to it. I could still have that desire or see a magazine or see someone in a movie and I'm like, oh, he looks clean or whatever, but I don't have the outlet or I don't even have the guidance or direction to even attain that. Yeah. So I feel like for me, it came from my upbringing. And then too, also, in addition to that, the response from the women, you know. Yeah. Like, man, you should have seen me in high school, man. Like,
I could only imagine.
Like you had guys. I graduated in 2008, so not to tell my age or anything. Yeah, you know, who cares? Yeah, you know, getting older is a blessing.
Yeah, so, that's right.
But in high school, man, I'd see the kids. They'll have jerseys on. Yeah, they'll have basketball shorts and stuff, and the Jordans on. You know, and man, I'd come to high school, man, with a silk shirt on. Yeah. You know, like a silk button-up shirt and some some dress pants and some loafers, man, and a gold chain and nice clean fade or whatever. And I used to get clowned, bro.
Really?
They used to go in on me.
Like, I thought it'd be the opposite, because even in my high school, I've had guys that did that. They came with the silk shirts, but it was the complete opposite. Yeah. They didn't get, I mean, they did feel a certain amount of, resistance from the males, but for the ladies, I mean, they were.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the guys, man, they clowned me, but the offset of that was I got a lot of attention from the women. Yeah, they loved it. Like the guys that were talking about me, their girlfriend was trying to get at me on low key, and it was like, I don't even think it came from like I look lame or anything, because I feel like I was put together well. I just think it was an exposure thing. I feel like it was different. Yeah. Because they were never exposed to that back home, which goes back to the background. Also, I feel like people despise what they don't understand. We're scared of what we don't understand. Right. They didn't understand why I came the way that I did. Yeah. But deep down, I felt like if someone pulled them to the side, and if one of those guys making fun of me would have been like, "Hey man, can you put me on?" Right. I mean, I would have gladly done it, and I'm sure they would have been receptive to it, but it wasn't really acceptable back then because we had like the tall tees back then. The baggy jeans. I think what was in back then, like Fat Farm, Fubu, stuff like that. Yeah. So it was more like a urban wear was taking over back then, and I never was attracted to that. I always thought it looked sloppy. Yeah. You have a skinny guy wearing a t-shirt that's like a 5X and baggy pants. It just wasn't comfortable, and it just didn't look good to me. Yeah. I like well-kept things. I like things that are neat, clean. Like I look at things very architectural. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, like even like my mom, she'd get dressed and she'd be like, how does your mama look? Or how do you look good? And I'd be like, I love the dress, but your hair looks bad. Or I'd say, which I regretted saying that a few times. I bet. Yeah. But say one time my parents, they got new furniture. And, I had career parents, so they were always gone. Yeah. So they got the furniture and stuff, and I took it upon myself to rearrange everything in the house. So they came back, and they're like, well, what the heck did you do to the house? And I'm like, it just looked terrible. Yeah. And that's how my mind works. I have an architectural mind. Like, I like shapes, colors, and contour. So I feel like that's just always been my mentality. So the urban wear never appealed to me. Plus, I've always valued just being different. Yeah, in a world where you can be anybody, why not just be yourself? Everyone blends in, and I always wanted to stand out. Yeah, not that I was trying to be extra, or not that I was trying to thought I was better or had an elitist mentality. I just like standing out, and I feel like. And that fit with my aesthetic anyway. Yeah. So it just organically came together. So yeah, man, in high school, that's how I was, man. And it just translated to college and transitioned. And even some of the pictures I look back in college where I thought I was fly. Yeah. Some of them I look back and I'm like, damn, like that suit fit terribly. But it was just at that time. It was ahead of its time. Yeah, right. But like with everything in life, it's an evolutionary process. Yep. So when I noticed some of the pictures, I'm like, well, it's a nice suit, but it's tailored very bad. It looks kind of baggy. The shoulders are boxy. It doesn't hug your waist. Yeah. Certain little things I dissect now because I've been in the game for a long time and I've advanced in it. But it's been just a progression ultimately. Yeah. Like increment by increment. So I feel like, to answer your question, man, like literally I feel like it's an innate thing, and I also feel like it's your background. Yeah. And it's just a sense of pride. Like I go somewhere, like when I'm getting up in the morning, I could be out getting a coffee or somewhere. I have the mentality like I can literally, you don't know who you're gonna run into. I can run into someone who literally will change my life. Yeah. And if say I'm getting coffee at Starbucks and I see a CEO or I see somebody and there's a type of business that I want to get into, but I'm presented sloppy. Yeah, right. I have sweats. I got stains all over my shirt and I just look a mess, or I look like I just came from the gym. Yeah. that person's not going to be intrigued to want to talk to me. But if I have a nice suit on and I'm well put together, getting coffee, smelling good, those are conversation openers. You'll have a guy, or you have even a lady, a person, an individual, they'll see you, they're like, well, what's up with this individual? Start small talk, and which a lot of the doors that opened up for me resulted played out just like that. Yeah. I'd be out, I'd get off work, and I'd go, not now, but back then, when I worked downtown in Metro Milwaukee, I'd go to a bar for happy hour. I'd be minding my own business. I had a rough day. Yeah. And I just wanted to kind of unwind and stuff. Still suited and booted. And I'd be sitting by the bar alone. And I've had so many connections like that where an individual, they'll sit back in the cut and they watch you. They watch how you carry yourself. They watch your demeanor. They watch your cadence. They watch how you interact with people on top of looking good. Yeah. So, once they make it up in their mind, like, all right, this is a person I want to get to know, they'll come up, start casual conversation, or offer to buy me a drink, or say, you look great, man. What do you do? And, I got a lot of my clients off just that. I always had a business card on me. Yeah. And I'll be like, well, I work, because at the time I worked at the courthouse as a clerk for the judges and stuff. Yeah. So I tell them, I work at the courthouse or whatever, but, I do image consulting on the side, and I work with a lot of attorneys and also judges and businessmen. So I pull out my card and give it to them, and they like my conversation. They like the way I carried myself, and that opens up the door. Yeah. So I feel like, that's just a testimony as to why, that's what motivates me, because me getting up every day, you can have that dream that you have. You can have a field that you want to get in. And the way that you look can single-handedly open up that door. Oh, absolutely. Or at least be a bridge, Yeah. And so many people have to think about that. Yeah. Is there a negative kind of view that a white lady might have? Because I remember when I used to, I'm really big into black exploitation movies. Me too, man. I love Foxy Brown.
Oh my God, amazing.
Superfly, movies like that.
Well, one of my favorite one was the Mac. Remember the Mac? Goldie, yeah.
That was my guy, man.
I'm telling you, man, beautiful. Oh my God, that was one of my favorite movies. But
he died recently, did he? I think maybe a year ago he died.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he passed. I was kind of sad. I'm like, and these are movies too, like, the only reason why I was watching them is because I was like, I'd be like at my aunt's house or something, and then I'd see I wouldn't want to watch stuff on the TV, so I'd take movies, and it'll be like Foxy Brown, just these old movies that I had no business watching. Because I was born in 1990. Yeah. So I'm like, the 70s is way before my time. I almost want to go on a time machine. Yeah. And I feel like I want to be 20 years old in the 70s, man. The fashion, the music, everything was beautiful, man.
When you look at fashion in those movies, and for example, I was watching not too long ago. I was watching the Mac, and there was a scene when there was like a man in the streets. I don't remember the scene very much, but even him was dressed fly. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's why I bring up the question: is it a cultural thing? Because I know there's men, white men that like to dress up in suits. Yeah, But you can definitely tell a difference, in color. You can tell in what else?
We when I say we, I mean men of color have the tendency to wear more color. Yeah, we're more vibrant, more eclectic with it, versus white men or men of different cultures. They're more modest. Yeah, they like the black and whites, the neutral templates. It's kind of boring. And some of them, like I've had guys come up to me. I had like a floral blazer on last weekend when I was just out kicking it in Milwaukee, and then he was like, "Man, I could never wear that. Yeah. That looks so good." And I'm just like, "Hey, man, try it. You never know, But I think it is a cultural thing because that's what we've seen. Like you said, you used a reference for not Foxy Brown.
The Mac.
The Mac. Yeah. All of those guys were clean, man. Yeah. They had clean cars. All of them had. We always talk about like cars too and stuff. So we both have a deep affinity for Cadillacs. Yeah. Man. That's where it comes from. Car. Yep. Cadillacs, Lexus. Not Lexuses in the 70s, but definitely Caddies. Just having a clean car, being suited and booted.
Yeah.
That's definitely a part of Black culture.
Oh, absolutely.
You could be broke, have $5 in your bank account, but rest assured, you know, I'm gonna look good. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it is a cultural thing as well, along with exposure. You know, so yeah, man.
How hard is it to make a man not look? For example, I know that there's certain type of styles, right? There's the business style, there's the casual, and then there's the extreme, I like to call it, the ones that look like pimps. Yeah, you know. Yeah. How do you prevent? Let's say, for example, I come to you and I say, man, I like colors. I like colors. I like to stand out. Yeah. I don't want to look like a pimp.
You don't want to look like
I don't want to look like a pimp.
Barney with a purple suit. Big Bird.
Because you know, women will project that. You know, a man that doesn't like, person like me that doesn't know much about fashion. I see somebody dressed up in super fly colors, a big hat, and to him, I like look good. But to me, I'm like that. Yeah, he's a pimp. You know what I mean?
Either that, or you think it looks country,
like
down south Mississippi Deacon. Which, not to offend the deacons downtown or down south, you know, because you guys got your swag too. But I think to avoid that, which I love color too. I wear really bold colors. Like I got a red suit, I got a lime green suit, a yellow suit. I feel like with bold colors like that, you have to minimize. See, the mistake where people think that this person's a pimp, like I can wear a hot pink suit. Yeah. And I could pull it off because I minimize it. So when I say minimize, I mean like wear like black or white. Don't add to the color. Yeah. Don't wear, if you have a hot pink suit, don't wear a hot pink tie. Right. Don't wear hot pink shoes.
There has to be a color balance. Is that basically?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because the suit itself is pretty much overwhelming. You know? So imagine a guy with a hot pink suit on, black V-neck, a nice subtle gold chain, black loafers, and maybe a black hat or some shades. Yeah. And a black pocket square. Like that's minimizing it. Yeah. Or it could be white, depending on the season. Like in the summertime, it could be like a white V-neck, or it could be sneakers with it. So that's how you avoid that, by minimizing it and wearing less garments. Don't make it a 3-piece situation either. Just have it be the blazer and the pants, and you know, just a lot of guys, it's a challenge to look casual but also look dressy, because a lot of guys think that it's either one or the other. Yeah, it's black and white, which it's not. I advise a lot of men to buy 3-piece suits, because if I have 5 3-piece suits, say I have a black one, I have a brown one, navy, like a light gray. Yeah, you can literally make over 50 outfits with that. With those 4 suits.
Just changing the combinations around.
You can mix. You could put the where, like, say you have a black 3-piece suit. You can wear the blazer, switch up the vest and the pants, and then switch up the shirt. Man. Like, get 4 shirts. Get, like, every man should have at least one white button in his closet for funerals, or, you know, just black tie events, or just a job interview. Yeah. White, a black shirt, a sky blue shirt, and then like a brown shirt. Yeah. Or not, when I say brown, like a light brown shirt. Those will neutralize any situation that you're in, and you can literally create like 50 suits off that. Yeah. And that's not even including the accessories, like the hats or bracelets or chains or the shoes, the belt.
I think that's why I'm not into fashion land, but there's too much to think about, man.
See, I mean, that's the part that I love about it, though, because I consider myself a creator. Yeah, like, you know, I do fashion consulting, like garments and stuff. I deal with that, and I create a look. To me, that's an art. Yeah. I also do photography, fashion photography, and also travel and urban street photography. Yeah. To me, that's an art. I paint. Not a lot of people know, like, I'm a painter, but I do abstract painting, which requires a lot of, which I'm terrible at math. I consider myself a right-sider. Okay. You know, like a right-sider is more creative. Yeah. A left-sider is more analytical, mathematics, you know, like a scientific, you know. science-based mind, but I'm a creator, so it's like I literally get pleasure out of that. So that's why it's not like for you, it's like it just matters. You have to be into something, you know. If you're not into clothes, then you're like, all right, I'm here at the wedding, so I don't get fined.
Yeah, right.
Like, but I'm not really investing in it. I mean, everyone has their thing, like, and that's the beauty of it, man. We're all individuals. Like I have most of my guy friends when we step out, when we go to bars and stuff, man, like all of them will tell you 10 times out of 10 I'm the only one with the suit on.
I'm sure.
And they'll have their beer, they'll have a nice jacket or like a blazer, not a blazer but a hoodie on. They'll have their beer and I'll have my martini and my wine. You know, we coexist. It's about, we appreciate, which the world should really take note of this too. We should all appreciate our differences. You know, that's what makes the world go around, literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
So me and you could go out just like this and it'll be a great time. I don't judge anybody. I don't think I'm better than anybody. Some people may look at me like, oh, he's doing too much or whatever. But I mean, hey, I'm being me, baby.
But you're living good, feeling good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can only be me, you know. Like I always say, in a world where you can be anyone, because people wear so many different masks in the world. Just be yourself.
Be yourself.
You know, just you got to look yourself in the mirror. You know, you're the architect of your life. You design your life, literally. Of course, life throws obstacles at you and certain things you can't control. But at least 90% of it is how you react to it. And you know, you have to be able to pivot and adapt. And with any situation. So that's just the mentality that I have, man.
Man, it's a good one to have, man. If you guys are looking for an image consultant, I will put a link to your Facebook on the bottom of this video.
Personal shopping. If you just want to revamp your closet and it's kind of outdated, then, you know, I can do a whole wardrobe for you. I can also do, if you have a black tie wedding, if you've never owned a suit in your life, those are the situations that I love the most. I love putting people on because a lot of guys, either they don't have the money or they think they don't have the money. Like buying a suit isn't that expensive. You can go to Goodwill and get a suit. And if you have a good tailor, it'll look just like a suit off the rack. But they don't have the exposure. So I love working with those guys who never worn a suit in their life, and then changing that narrative for them. So then they're like, they built their wardrobe. And not that you have to wear them every day, but you know, you got some on deck if you need, if you have an event that you need to go to and you don't look so out of place. You know, so definitely hit me up for that.
Absolutely. And again, the link will be posted on the bottom of this video. If you guys want to hit up my man TJ, you want to look good, hit him up, man. Best image consultant in the industry, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. You're too kind.
Let's switch it up a little bit, Lambert. Let's talk about the transition from fashion. But what kind of what is first of all, what kind of females, right? Gravitate to men in suits, in your opinion? Comparative to the woman who gravitates to the man with the blazers, with the jerseys, with the Jordans, and things like that.
Rays and Pookies out there.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. From my experience, the type of women that gravitate to men that wear suits, like I'll use myself for an example, career women. Like I've met, and you know, I love my girlfriend. This is before my time, baby. So, but literally, career women. Like I've always met women that had some type of career in corporate America. Like they had 6-figure jobs. Like like an independent woman. Like if you think about that prototype, or you think about that perception, like those are the type of women that I attract. Who have businesses, they're bosses, they're supervisors, or, you know, they're just doing their own thing and they just have a boss mentality and they're just well put together. And those conversations with those women, it's not ever any BS. Like it's always about how to advance, how to better yourself, how to get more money. Not only how to get money, but how to manage the money, how to build your credit, how to do all these things, like things that are productive. It's a deeper conversation, which I love because, I love a woman of substance, a woman of quality, a woman who thinks more long term as opposed to short term.
Yeah.
Like,
the woman that you're attracted to, do they have to be the same as far as they have to dress a certain way? They have to be the suited girl, and what kind of woman attracts TJ?
So in the past, man, that used to be a huge issue.
Yeah.
With women, like I literally will be randomly out one night, just chopping it up, being vulnerable. And I'll be like, well, what's one thing that you could change about me? Or what's one thing that
They would ask you that?
No, I'd ask them.
Okay.
We'd ask each other that. Yeah. We'll just have a lot of interesting conversations. And a lot of them would admit, it's hard to keep up with you. I'm like, what do you mean? Am I too much? They're like, no, your personality, everything is on point.
Yeah.
You're driven. You're about your business. You're focused, ambitious. But when I say keep up, as far as fashion wise, I always feel like I have to be dressed apart with you, and it provides a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And then too, women, and which I agree, most women, they want to feel like when they go somewhere that they're the more attractive one, or they garner in all the attention from the outside.
Yeah.
But in most situations, not to sound like I'm this or that, but in most situations, I kind of steal the spotlight from the woman because, the suits and stuff and how things are put together.
Right.
So they feel like they have to stay at that standard to even be considered valuable or worthy. And I'm like, well, I don't know why you feel that way. I'm with you because you're focused. I'm not with you. Obviously you're not a bum, but I mean, I guess I can understand that to a certain extent. Yeah. It provides a lot of pressure. So I always told myself, in relationships, it was one woman I dated. I won't say her name, but that was one of the things that bothered me about her is that she had the opposite style of me. She wore a lot of flannel, Vans and stuff, and I just liked her. I liked her personality, man. It was she was just a great woman. But you ever hear the term on Facebook when people say, if you're gonna come into my DM, look at you and look at me, make it make sense. We didn't make sense. But I liked her, but I really enjoyed her, but that bothered me about her. So when I was single, just doing my thing, man, I used to always encounter that during dates. They'll be intimidated because of me having a suit on. And I'm like, wow, the power of a suit, literally, not only in the boardroom, not only in corporate America, not only in society and on the streets, but in dating.
Yeah.
And,
so that plays a really big part in when you choose a mate or, a female companion.
If I'm going to take you seriously, we have to be at the same level, because I don't want to be out with you and I'm ashamed to hold your hand because, we look mismatched, which there's couples out there like that. But when I was when I was single, I just was I need to find a woman who loves fashion. Yeah. And I'm not even gonna look for it. I'm gonna do me, do my own thing. And, once God is gonna send me whoever I'm supposed to be with, and we'll see. So it's ironic now. My woman now, she actually went to school for fashion design. Yeah. She worked for this big, I'm not gonna say the company, but she worked for this pretty huge company. Still currently works for them as a project manager for athleisure and women's wear and stuff like that. Okay. So she has an eye for fashion, man. Every time we go out, man, it's like a runway show. Yeah. She's really into fashion. She loves hats, and her style is just so impeccable. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, that was one of the things that attracted me to her before I actually got to know her internally. Her style, very classy, very put together, on top of just the way she carries herself. So I mean, it all worked out for me in the end, but a lot of women are intimidated by that. Yeah. And I would just encourage a lot of women to don't be intimidated by it. Just use it as motivation and level up, you know, have that. If that's not who you genuinely are, then I mean, you got to find someone who fits your criteria. But if you desire a guy like that, then utilize it as a challenge to better yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, not to say clothes mean everything. It's the person, it's the character, but it's all a package.
Yeah.
And you have to deliver on that if you want the certain desired outcomes you want out of relationships or business or your professional life or whatever it may be.
TJ, let me ask you something, and we're moving away a little bit from the fashion aspect of it.
Yeah.
When you go out, right, and not to try to get you in trouble with your lady,
no, not at all.
But how hard is it? Because I'm sure women are attracted to you just by looking at the suit, looking at you, looking at your persona. You attract women. You attract a lot of women.
Not even me, just like you said, the persona.
Yeah. So how hard is it, man? Your willpower to try to, because I know me as a man.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. I love this question.
Yeah. It's hard for me, right? And I'm a married man. I have children with my wife. I love my wife. I'm happily married, man. And there's really nothing I would do to kind of put that in jeopardy. You know what I mean? But look at me and look at you. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't attract that much attention. You know what I mean?
Low key, I'm low key. Stay out the way,
and I'm okay with that.
Right.
But let's say for someone like you, you know, dress sharp, you know, looking good, you going out and you attract all these women.
Yeah.
How hard is it for you, man, to kind of just say no and back away from that? You know what I mean? Walk me through a certain situation.
Yeah.
Where that's it. Is it hard? Basically?
It was hard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie and say it's not hard at all. Like, that's not realistic. When I say it was hard, I mean back in my younger days, because, I'm 32 now.
Yeah.
So I'm a little older. I'm not too old, but I'm like in the middle right now. I like to consider myself being at my peak financially and my mentality as well. So, but I say it was hard, like in the past, when I was younger and I didn't really value the element of consequence.
Yeah.
And, when I was younger, I let some temptations get to me and stuff. And, I noticed that the consequences of a temporary lust or desire isn't worth it. Like, it can destroy your life. It could destroy certain situations that you're in. So my willpower, like, I'm a man, we're visual creatures. We see things. We're out in the world. We're out in the clubs. And summertime, we see there's a lot of beautiful, attractive people in the world, not just women, men as well. There's beautiful people in the world who are well put together and stuff. And ultimately, it's just, I'm the type of person, like, it was hard back in the day, but I've gone through some trials and tribulations and things, and I've learned from my mistakes. I'm the type of person, I don't make the same mistake twice. If I touch the stove and I get burned, I know not to touch that stove ever again.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a more simplistic example, but nowadays, man, it's not hard. Like, I'd go into the club, I'll go into a bar, and women do approach me. And I'm always respectful. I always tell my girl I'm not going to do anything behind your back that I wouldn't do in front of your face. And you know me, you know my mentality. And I told her the other day, I went out, or the other weekend, I think I went out, and, she stayed back, and then she was asking, she was like, how was your time or whatever? I'm just telling her what I was doing. And she was like, so were you getting hit on? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, how was that? And then I just tell her, I'm like, man, I wish you could be a fly on the wall, because your man is like the shutdown king.
Yeah.
And, I do it in a way where it's not demeaning to a woman. Rejection is just a part of life.
Yeah.
I've been rejected before. We all have. You don't always get what you desire out of life, and you shouldn't want something or someone that doesn't want you. You should take that L, and there's somebody out there who will want you, who will say yes to you. Yeah. But, when I'm out in the world, I get approached. the temptation's always out there. There's always that element. I think Kanye West had a line. He said, how you stay faithful in a room full of... Yep. And my answer to that is walk the hell out. Yeah. Don't put yourself in certain situations where you can make a mistake. Should I be able to sit in a room with 50 women throwing themselves at me and walk out that room untouched? Absolutely, because my willpower should take me there. But I believe in both. I believe in building that discipline up, and I also believe in not exposing yourself in situations. You know what I mean? Like, certain things wouldn't happen in life if you weren't even in the room. You weren't even involved in the situation. It's called avoidance. You know, like Milwaukee has been really bad as far as like the violence and stuff that. So it's like people are doing mass shootings and all types of crazy stuff, you know, at Deer District, and it was just a mess. And me and my girl, we always go down there. We hang out a lot, but you know, it was one of those nights where I think it was the last shooting. We were supposed to go down there, and we just opted not to. So if we were in that situation, though, I would know how to handle myself, and I would know how to get out of the situation. But us not going at all in that area, we're safe at home, just chilling. We didn't have to even do that. So it's easy for me. It's not difficult at all because I don't expose myself to certain situations. If a woman's being inappropriate, I shut it down friendly. I don't entertain it. And what I find out, or if I found out, you know, as I got older, a lot of women, like, you think marriage, the value of marriage and kids and a person having a family and a foundation with the person, you would think that would mean something, but it means absolutely nothing. It means something, but it means nothing. Because a person who cares about their marriage, and then there's another person who knows about it, it's almost like a challenge to them. They want to see, they really don't even want you. Women have way more options than men on the dating market.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You go on Tinder, a woman creates a profile. She'll get like over 1,000 hits that day, likes or whatever. A man, he doesn't even touch that number, you know, because men are naturally like the pursuers and the hunters, and women have their pick of who they want. You know, it's like all of you guys are lined up, let the best man win. Women just have more options than men have. So with that element, it's like so many women, like I tell guys, like some of my clients who I work with who are like socially awkward, never wore a suit before, and they just have no type of level or intellectual level to talk to women. I tell them, I'm like, the quickest way to attract women as a single man, like, you have to be different. You have to show. There's 1,000 men in her DMs. There's maybe she goes to the supermarket, 5 guys tried to talk to her, especially if you're trying to pursue an attractive woman. Guys are at her every day.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing that's going to separate you, she's probably already dating 3 or 4 guys and deciding who she wants to give a shot. So it's like, you have to be different because you can't give a woman that type of validation or attention. Like, be friendly, don't be like rude or anything, but just don't appear less excited and appear less interested, because as I said earlier, women have options. 100 guys tried to talk to one woman. Out of 100 guys, you're the one who didn't. She's going to look at herself like, well, what's wrong with me? All these other guys tried to talk to me. Why didn't he try to talk to me? I'm going to try to talk to him and see, because he don't like me. That's the mentality. So it's like a woman will see a man who's married and he has an invisible sign that says off limits. She's like, and then the man, even if he is shutting it down, that woman's going to come even harder because it's a challenge to her. Like, people innately love challenges, whether it's men or women. Like, you hear the term, a person likes to chase. So a woman feels that way about a guy who's married. You know, you can have a fat ring on your finger, and a woman, that gets her excited. She's like, well, let me see how far I could take it. Let me see how faithful he thinks he is. So I personally enjoy dealing with women like that, because I'm like, I'm going to show you how faithful I am. And I'm going to show you need to get a man like me, because, you know, I mean, not to say like temptation's always there, but at the end of the day, do I want my spouse, if my spouse did this to me, how would that make me feel?
Yeah.
People always want to, it's always fun until the rabbit has the gun.
Yep.
Like when the situation's flipped, if your woman was out here disrespecting you and out here just doing whatever she wanted with you, or, you know, with men out here and you're at home looking sick and mistreating you, like, how would you feel? Coming home late, how would you feel?
Yeah.
Like
right.
you would hate that. You wouldn't even be with that woman.
Yeah.
So why would a woman tolerate that from you? You have to have that same level of respect.
Yeah.
If I'm out at a bar and a woman is flirting with me and all over me and stuff, I'm gonna shut that down, because I think, like, say my woman was at a bar and she was all over a dude, and a dude was all over her and she's entertaining it, I'd be upset.
Yeah.
Because you're disrespecting our relationship, and it's all about representation.
Yeah.
You're giving that man, even if you don't do anything with that man, and it's not insecurity, I say it's respect.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything with that man, but you're also giving him non-sexual attention. And there's a difference between being friendly and cordial versus giving a man, like, you know the difference, versus non-sexual attention. And because in that man's mind, and I know we're men, so we know how men think. They're like, well, I know I can hit that.
Yeah, I got a shot. Yeah.
Yep. And it's like, I don't want my woman to ever have a man think that they can at all. And I'm not going to let any woman think that she can at all with me. She's going to walk away knowing, like, damn, he a good one. I need to get one like that. Yeah. So, yeah, I take pleasure out of that, man. And I just think about the consequences. What is it to, I can easily cheat or do whatever I want to do with a woman, but how am I going to feel after? Yeah. After the deed's done, how am I going to feel? Am I going to be able to look myself in the mirror as a man and be proud? Am I going to be able to, and I have my conscience is one. My conscience always eats me. Yeah. Like if I hit a rabbit on the road, I feel bad. I'm like, damn. But let alone if I do something treacherous to the woman that I love, I'm coming home to, we have a life together, and I do what I do and I come home and I'm smiling in her face. I can't do that. Yeah. I'm the seeker of truth. I love to live like an authentic life. So it's like, when I couldn't do anything like that, and if I did, I would have to, right away, you gonna know. And I'm letting you have the decision whether or not you want to deal with it, or whether or not, if you want to leave, I understand, because I do the same. Yeah. Because trust is like, it takes years to build it, man. Yeah. But once you lose it, one circumstance, I don't ever want to put myself in a position for you to ever doubt my credibility as a man. A person's word is everything. Trust is everything. If you're in a relationship and you have no trust, you have nothing. Yeah. It's stressful to be trying to look through someone's phone or trying to monitor what somebody's doing or whatever. I have all this other stuff going on. I don't have time to worry about you. So if I can't trust you as far as I can throw you, and I know that you're not going to respect me, or if I even question, like, there's been situations where I've broken up with women because I even had to question it. Yeah. That's an unnatural existence. That's an uncomfortable existence to live in. I want to live in an existence where I know my girl could be at the bar with 10 dudes and nothing's going to happen. Right. Like, you could try to convince her. Go ahead, try to convince her. But she ain't going. Yeah. You know, that's the type of relationship you want to be in, whether you're a man or a woman. So, yeah, I mean, I just think of the consequences, like breaking my girl's heart. I look like an idiot. Yeah. I lose everything that we've built for the past X amount of time. Is a temporary moment of lust worth years of what you've built? And we look at historically, we look at the Bible. Yeah. What's the biggest downfall? One of the biggest downfalls of men. Lust, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Out of all the 7 deadly sins, lust is pretty much 90% of men's vice. You know, men love women, but kingdoms have also fallen because of women and a man's lustful desire and him not having that self-control. There's I forgot what that verse in the Bible is, but it's a saying, said a man without self-control is like a city with no walls. Like, I love that saying. Yeah. So I always hold on to that, man. I'm like, I always gotta have that self-control. Yeah. I always gotta have that I think long term, like, I'll sleep with this chick, but do I want to be with her? Mm-hmm. Does she make my soul feel good? When I wake up in the morning, do I feel like I'm the king of the world?
Yeah.
Does she know how to love me? Does she know how to, when I'm going through things, does she know how to console me? Does she know how to like nurture and water my soul?
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I'm not willing to risk that, because in 95% of the time, she can't.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't want to put myself in a situation where I lose the best thing that's ever happened to me for someone who was just literally for that night.
How long does it take for you to find those values in a woman? You know, when you first start dating them, you know, and mentioning all those values you told me that you're looking for in a woman, how long does it take to find that out? Isn't it something that, because it's been my experience is that, you know, it usually takes me a long time to figure out, you know, if I want to be with this woman or not. How long does it take you?
Not long at all. I feel like it doesn't take a lot of men, like, I don't mean to call us out, but I'm gonna call us out.
Yeah.
A lot of men, they BS it, man. Especially like you ask a man, like or a lot of women ask a man, how long does it take for you to figure out whether or not you want to marry me, or you want to be with a woman, or a woman's wife material?
Yeah.
And some men, they stretch it. I need at least 2 years, 3 years. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
You can figure that out in 6 to 9 months, maybe a year tops. Like, if you're being honest with yourself and you're self-aware, it doesn't take that, and you're paying attention and you're present in the relationship, it doesn't take that long at all. You see certain attributes in a woman. People show you who they are, and you just have to study a woman. Like, study a woman like, I don't want to say like a playbook, because it's not a game, but you know what I mean? Like, study a woman like you study for an exam that you want to pass, you know? Be diligent.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say between like 6 to 9 months, to where I decide, like, all right, like, and I think that's still too much time. I'd say 3 to 6. Yeah. You know?
Does the novelty wear off? And I say that because I'm on my second marriage right now.
Yeah.
My first marriage, I found all the values I was looking for. I mean, she was perfect in my eyes. But then after a while, it kind of rubbed off. I mean, she wasn't really, and I found this out later, you know, in our relationship, she wasn't what I was looking for. I mean, she had all these problems that transferred into me. She changed into a whole different person. Yeah. And then we end up getting divorced. Yeah. You know, the divorce rate right now is extremely high. Yeah. And things like that. How do you maintain that? Or is that even possible to have because how long have your parents been married?
I don't know the exact number, but at least easily over 15 years.
15 years. Yeah. Now, that's a long time. Yeah. You know, is there a point where men will get tired of, you know, because people grow differently, right? Yeah. You know, and is there a point where you say, you know what, that's enough, you know?
I love this question too, man. I feel like commitment ultimately is a choice. Commitment is deciding I'm going to be with this person. Life is an evolutionary process. You know what I mean? Like, you're not the same. I'm sure you're not the same guy you were when you were 15, when you were 25, when you were 35. You keep evolving. At least you should. Yeah. If you're the same person at those ages that I listed, like, you need to you got a problem because you're not growing. So especially you have two individuals, right, who are growing, you have to work extra hard because you're not only monitoring your growth, you also have to monitor and accommodate the other person's growth. And it's hard, man, because you can get married and initially, like you said, your first wife was everything you thought that you wanted, but then it changed gradually. So I feel like, I don't know your specific situation, but I feel like sometimes people do just grow apart. But I also feel like society makes it easy for people to also leave. Yeah. You know, you mentioned the divorce rate. It's like, I think it's 54% or something like that. It doesn't even seem like it's worth it these days. Yeah. Especially for men, because, you know, you have children too. And in Wisconsin, you're taking that L, man. Yeah. You're paying child support. sometimes spousal support if you're supporting your spouse. And Wisconsin is a women and children state for sure. And it's not always fair, but I mean, you can't cry over spilled milk. Yeah. You know, you just have to have an abundant mentality instead of a mentality that's more scarce. But I would just say, like me and my girlfriend, man, like I have every intentions on marrying her and being with her, and that's why we're on the same page with things, because she feels the same way. Like, commitment is a choice, and even if we change, we have to grow together, continue to grow together, continue dating. Like, you see, any free time that I have, and our schedule's pretty crazy at work. But any free time that I have, I'm not talking to my children, like because my children, they don't live here. They live in Texas. But me and my woman, we live together. So it's just like, I make that time for her, because people could easily grow apart. Yeah. Relationships have the attention span of a toddler these days. People, and there's a lot going on. People can easily grow apart. You know, they work too much, or they just have different interests or want different things. You always just have to spice it up. Really tap into what your partner likes. Even if you don't like it, do it, you know, because it makes that person happy.
Whose responsibility is it to make that adjustment? If me as a man, I see that my woman is kind of growing apart, it's changing. Yeah. So am I. Yeah. Whose responsibility in the relationship is it to make the adjustment?
Both. Because you're both in the relationship. One person can't carry the wagon up the hill all the time, because eventually that person is going to get tired. Yeah. They're going to get resentful. They're going to get fatigued, and they're going to be like, look back at the person sitting in the wagon just chilling, like, hey, you going to get out and help me? Is it my turn? We're both trying to reach the top. Yeah. So let's get there. We're a team. Yeah. You know, like, and that's a whole nother conversation as far as like relationships, but as far as like traditional, non-traditional, I have traditional values, but I think overall I classify as non-traditional. I believe that there's like a lot of my uncles and from my dad's era, they're like, a man should take care of 100% things. Yeah, right. All the bills, everything, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, and I tell women this too. I'm like, you know, when a man tells you that, he's basically saying he's going to control you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, he's paying for your life. So it's like, why even put yourself in a position where a man could dictate everything in your life? Like, if that man decides to do you wrong, if that man decides he doesn't want to be with you anymore, you're not going to have anything. So it should be a partnership. It should be, I was raised that way, you know. My parents both had pretty great jobs. My dad's a businessman. Mom's a college professor. I was raised in a dual family income household, and I see the value in that. Yeah. So, like, me and my girl, we talk now, like, she's a boss. Like, she has a very lucrative job. Yeah. We have good jobs, you know what I mean? So it's like, we're partners. We're living life together. You know, we Michael Jordan and Scotty. Yeah. You know, we Shaq and Kobe, you know. Yeah. I'll be Kobe, you know, you Shaq, or y'all can figure out who each person is, but at the end of the day, we're a dynamic duo. Yeah. And we have the same goal. Yeah. So it's both individuals' responsibility to change the course of that.
Now, but come on, Lambo, let's just be real, man. Yeah. If a woman has the same, let's say, economic structure, the same values, the same everything as a man, does a woman now become the owner of the man? You know what I mean? Does a woman develop a personality that's saying, I don't need you anymore. I don't need you. What I need you for? Yeah. You know, now, so is it fair to say that a man has to keep a certain percentage higher than the woman as far as the control that he has in the relationship, or the role that he plays in the relationship? Is that a fair statement, or, you know?
I definitely, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I see why you would present that, or why certain people think that way, because they're like, well, yeah, I got to make a little more because, you know, like, I don't want her thinking she run me. Like, I'm just, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it goes back to the type of partner that you pick. You have to, like like my first 2-3 dates, like when I was single, my first 2-3 dates, I lay out everything.
Yeah.
And it's like an agreement. Like, we can make revisions along the way, but we both have to mutually consent to that.
Yeah.
But we pretty much have to be on the same page with at least 85% of things.
Yeah.
The other 15% we can adjust, you know, because it's life. Like, that's the unpredictable and sometimes the inevitable that we have to adjust to. But other than that, we have our base values and cores based on who we are. So for men that think that they have to have that leverage or whatever, like, I understand that, because just like I said, with men who say they'll pay 100% of everything, it's a reason why they feel that way, because they're paying for your life, they're financing everything. So they're like, I mean, I'll be damned if I spend my hard earned money on you and you ain't listening to me, and you doing you wilding and doing whatever you want to do. Like, well, all right, sayonara, like, peace. So, and I feel like there's women out there like that too. Yeah. You know, but I also feel like, because I was listening to something the other day. It was saying like women who take the bulk of the finances, or women who are like a boss chick and owns their business and stuff, they have a hard time with relationships, because they try to, when they do get with the man, they come off very emasculating, and they come off very masculine. And like, most men, they don't prefer that. You know, there's some men that like a little aggressiveness, and, you know, in certain like aspects, like in the bedroom or whatever. But for the most part, you know, men, we just want to make our money. We want to come home. We don't want to have to deal with, you know, an individual who's combative. Who, we're already masculine. We have that testosterone already, so we don't want to have to deal with our woman being that way. You know, we want you to be our peace and serenity. You know, we're like the fence, and you're like the beautiful flower that's in the garden. Like, we want peace and tranquility in our home. We don't want to have to argue all the time and have it be a power struggle. And that's a relationship killer as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But then women will counter that by saying, well, I only submit to a man who's worthy, who's shown me, which I completely agree. I'm not going to submit to just anybody. But we talk about the concept of submission. Submission goes both ways. Oh, yeah. So many people associate submission with the woman just, a man saying, I want a sandwich, baby. And she's like, you want extra mayo and mustard on it? Like, that's not the term of submission. Submission is both people compromising and sacrificing for each other. And we're out there fighting the world every day. We're going to work. We're dealing with all our trials and tribulations. We want to be on a united front. We want to come home and know that we're good. We're leveled out. I submit to you by, I consider your feelings. Like, if you're bothered by something, I'm not going to tell you feel stupid. I'm not going to shut you down. I'm going to allow you. And it goes back to the concepts of my mom telling me to express yourself. I tell my woman all the time, I'm like, baby, express yourself. Like, it was funny when we first started dating. She was like, I've never met a guy who was just so expressive. Like, and she grew up in a family where they didn't express anything. They just held it in. And they'll be walking around in the house and it'd be tense, and people don't talk to each other for a week, and eventually they'll get over it, but then the problem's still there. I can't live like that. I need to address the problem right now. We can not dwelling on it or rigging on somebody, but let's talk about the problem. Let's move on, and then come up with solutions, then move on, so that it won't happen again, you know, because I can't get over something unless there's a solution. So many people sweep things under the rug. And that's it right there. They think it's going to go away. And you have to be confrontational. You should only be confrontational in one aspect, and that's confrontational against issues, and not confrontational. Conflict is healthy. So many people try to avoid conflict. It's not conflict isn't the problem. The problem is how you conflict. You have to do it in a productive, safe manner to where, like, an individual is like, I'm going to respect you. I'm not going to get loud. I'm not going to demean you. I'm not going to make you feel stupid. We have our disagreements. You think the sky is red. I think I know the sky is blue.
Right.
But I'm still going to hear you out. I'm still going to like ration with you. And it's still going to be a composed and controlled conversation. And it's going to be productive because I want to be good with you, baby.
Yeah.
I don't want to be walking around tense, and that's not good, especially for us. Like for minorities, it ain't good for no blood pressure, you know.
Right. It's
not good. Like you could die literally for being angry and just holding stuff in, and it's just not a good way to live. Yeah. So it's just confrontation. I don't, man. I run up the chimney. I ain't ducking no smoke, man.
Yeah.
Like we got to deal with it, you know.
Yeah.
But once we deal with it, we move past it and we get better. That's how a relationship strengthens.
Yeah.
So many people, they just avoid things. They act like it doesn't exist. The elephant is literally looking at me right now in the room, and I'm acting like it's not there.
Yeah.
Like it's not the way to live, man.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to tell anybody how to, be, but the longer you live, the wiser you get, and you should definitely always learn from your mistakes and stuff. And no relationship's perfect, but I don't require things to be perfect. I require things to be real, authentic, and ultimately a relationship isn't, so many people treat a relationship like you get like a loose sheet of paper and say you draw in the middle of it. Pros, cons. It's like they keep score on everything, and well, he don't do this and she don't do this, and don't do that. Like that's only gonna harbor resentment. We're all work in progresses. If he snores, I mean, there's not really much he could do about it. There's certain things, I mean, you could take him to a specialist, a sleeping specialist, but nothing changes overnight. Certain things does, but most things don't. And we just have to be okay with that and accept people for who they are, because if you can't accept an individual at their worst, or when they're undesirable, or when you're really just pissed off at them, don't like them anymore. You love them, but you don't like them. You still got to push through.
Still got to do it.
Still got to get through those emotions.
Man, it's interesting advice, man. But let's talk a little bit about the ugly side of that. Because when I got divorced, right, and I told you that my wife, she was the one I wanted, and things like that. And I thank God that I'm married to a beautiful, smart, loving individual now. And but my ex-wife, when we were in our peak and we thought that we were greatly in love and things like that, we never thought that the ugly side would come when we got divorced, or the divorce. We will never get divorced. When it did happen, I saw the most ugliest person in the world. I mean, the ugliness that I've never seen when we were married, I saw when we were divorced. This girl went after me for everything. I mean, she literally took everything. And I didn't fight it. She went after, child support, which, I knew that was going to happen. She went after everything. So I kind of want to touch on that a little bit, about the ugly side. Once the divorce happens and now you guys are broken up. I've had to deal with so much now with child support, where she weaponized child support. I want to kind of talk about that a little bit. She weaponized it for me. I mean, where now my kid is 18. I didn't dig this, man. My kid's 18, out of high school, out of everything, or not out of high school. Sorry, he's still working in high school, but since he's 18 and still working on a high school diploma, she went out and filed again. Because legally, she can keep me on child support for up to a year after the kid turns 18 if he's pursuing a high school diploma. Now, me, I know that she doesn't care about my kid's education. She doesn't care. She just wants to keep me on child support. And I know, and I say that just to be fair. I say that she doesn't care about my child's education because my son has been trying to finish his high school diploma, and she's not there for him. She doesn't support that. But she had the audacity to go out and, put me on child support again. Now, I'm not trying to air out my problems here. But I kind of want to talk about the ugly side of it.
Absolutely.
And have you ever dealt with, that situation where it's just, you see the ugliness of a woman?
Well, I mean, for the viewers out there, I was married, I got married when I was 25. Honestly, it was just a lot of pressure. It was a situation that even both my parents, they told me, they're like, don't get married.
Yeah.
Like, you're too young. And you would think it would be the opposite. Like, especially, I grew up in the church. So, you know, church pressure is just another beast.
That's the worst pressure.
Oh, yeah. Because she ended up, you know, she ended up getting pregnant, and they're like, people in the church are like, yeah, God's not gonna, you better marry that girl. God's not gonna be pleased if you don't marry. And so kind of like that really got me. And then my parents were like, you don't have to marry her.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like, well, I have to provide my children with what I had, like what you guys provided and gave me. Like, I'm not going to just, you know, make a child and just not be around. So ultimately we did get married, and, you know, I should have listened to my parents.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never talk bad about, you know, my ex-wife. She's a great mother. We grew up together and stuff, but it was just a situation that just should have never been. But, when we went through the divorce, it's crazy because in most divorces, the woman is the initiator. Like, in over 80% of cases, like the woman is the one filing for divorces.
Yeah.
Men aren't leaving their wives.
Yeah.
Wives are leaving their husbands.
Yeah.
You know, because they have more leverage with, especially if you have children, child support, spousal support. And it's just, in Wisconsin, I mean, a man, he's already fighting a lot when it comes to divorce proceedings.
Yep.
And when I worked at the courthouse, I actually worked in divorce court as a clerk while I was getting a divorce.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So I learned a lot. And, you know, people, you see the ugly side of people because, you know, they get lawyers get involved.
Yeah.
I actually didn't get any attorneys in my situation.
Really?
I did it pro se.
Okay.
Because we were so young, we didn't have any property to divide, and it was less complicated. But I still seen the ugly side because, you know, like, it goes back to the concept of rejection. If someone gets rejected, and it's just like, you don't get married with the anticipation of getting a divorce. No one, I feel like if people did, less people would be getting married.
Yeah.
Most people get married because they feel like this is the person that I'm supposed to be with and I will be with.
Yep.
But life hits you sometimes and things happen, or you marry someone for the wrong reasons. That's why you got to make sure like your foundation is straight.
Yeah.
To begin with, or you're gonna be in divorce court. But not saying that everyone's situation's different. But if we talk about the ugly side, it's like when you add rejection, then there's a concept of control. And when you have children, it's like, well, I want to control the majority of the custody, and you're gonna pay me child support, and everything's just on that person's terms, especially when they felt like they didn't ask for a divorce and they feel like you're doing them wrong and you're splitting up a family. They're like, well, as a replacement for the embarrassment and the anger and the rejection, I'm taking everything. Yeah. And in theory, when being a person and humanizing myself and putting myself in her shoes, I'd probably feel the same way initially, but off pure emotion, not overall. But then once I come to the conclusion of things, I'm like, first of all, that's not being a good person. Yeah. Second of all, it's not good for the children. I can't control everything. My kids, especially a father who wants to be involved. Yeah. There's some dads who don't care at all. Yeah. They're like, all right, I'll pay child support. Like, that's all she getting out of me. But then if you have a father who wants to be involved, then you shouldn't be that way, you know? And it's just unfortunate, man. Like, I'm not going to get too deep in it because I'll never, talk bad about her at all. But I've experienced the ugly side of that, man. When you're dating someone, you get married, and then you get a divorce, you start to see sides of a person you never even knew existed. Yeah. Yeah. Like, when a woman's scorned, man, that's a tough pill for a man to swallow, because sometimes women don't even realize that women are emotional creatures. We all are emotional creatures, but God designed women to be a little more, emotional. Yep. So when they make emotionally charged decisions, and because of anger, it's really detrimental, and it's it can come off treacherous. And I mean, we've had our moments in the past where it was just really bad.
Yeah.
But people grow, when people say, it sounds cliche, time heals all wounds. Like, it does.
Yeah.
In the moment, you ain't trying to hear that. You're like, this woman trying to take me for all my money. This woman's trying to take my kids and have the control over my kids and how I see my kids, when I see my kids. The judge is on the same page.
Yeah.
It's like society doesn't really value the essence of a father. I feel like, especially like, I have daughters, so especially like my daughters, like I'm their first example of how a man should love and treat them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So in the midst of that, the good thing was they were so young, they don't really remember that. They just remember, I live with mommy. Yeah. We visit daddy, and that's the dynamic. Yeah. Versus, it's different in your situation because your kids are a little older. But it's like being 12, 13. And you're going through a divorce. Yeah. Children pick sides. And not even the right side all the time. Sometimes the mom could be wrong. Sometimes the dad could be wrong, or the dad could have cheated on the mom, and the mom's just pissed off and she's talking to her friends, not even directly to the child, but children hear everything. Yeah. And they formulate an opinion of their dad. Yeah. That's not even accurate, or not even like, it's like one-sided. And I feel like individuals should come to a conclusion only when they've received both sides, not just one side. But unfortunately, in most cases, the children live with the mom. Yeah. So they get that side. Yeah. And then the kid turns into an adult, and then they want more answers. And then either, it changes their perception, or, it doesn't. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're at a disadvantage anyway. You got to work. Like me, I got to work 100 times more harder. Yeah. Because my children aren't here. Yeah. They're in Texas. I'm in Wisconsin. So I got to work overtime, and some, which you should go hard for your kids. Absolutely. Regardless, whether they live in the same city as you or not, you still got to do that. But it is harder. But, we got past all that, me and my ex-wife, but I've seen literally like the worst sides of an individual. Yeah. And I'm not perfect. She's seen the worst sides of me. Yeah. Because when you're in a situation like that and you're like, I don't want to be married anymore, and I think it's best that I want my daughters to see their mother happy. I don't want them to be in a loveless marriage, because to go back, I'm their first example. So I don't want them to see me like loving their mom 50% and not 100%, and being checked out, and them thinking once they become of age and they seek a husband that's normal and that's okay. It's not. I rather just, I can be a great father and we can co-parent very well, and our children can live in productive homes without us being together. Right. And I just had to decide that. But you see the ugly side, because where I said she's seen the ugly side of me, because if you feel like in your mind you're doing what's best for everybody, find a man that really loves you. For the children, they're going to have a good example of seeing their mom happy and not being in a toxic environment. Yeah. So I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like the hero on the white horse, saving everybody. Like, we're going to go through this right now, but overall, it'll be a good thing. But there's a whole nother side. She feels like I betrayed her. She feels like I ripped the rug from underneath her feet. Yeah. She feels embarrassed. She feels I got to put myself in her shoes. So people react. When people feel like they're attacked or they're getting resistance, they get resistance and they get in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, it's like you being trapped in the wild, man. Yeah. You being trapped on an island. Historically, like, people have been trapped on islands with no food, and they turn to cannibalism. Like, you got to do what you got to do to survive, So that's our human nature. So she'll do something. I'm thinking I'm the good guy. She's not the good guy, but the guy who's like providing some type of balance and structure. And she's the type, or at the time, she's thinking I'm dealing with her. So she dealing with me in survival mode, and then I get defensive. It's like a ping pong match. It's like a tennis match. So I say I'm not perfect because she's seen the ugly sides of me. I said a lot of things, did a lot of things that were just that I'm ashamed of, you know. But that's just part of it, you know, human conflict, you know. People definitely make the world go round, you know. Like,
absolutely.
We move past it and all, but yeah, like getting married and deciding to commit to someone, these are things that you may not want to think about, but you should.
With this rising number in divorces, comparative to when our parents got married to the generation now, I realized, and I think this is just a statistic out there that says that people now in 2022 don't want to get married. They don't want to get married, and the numbers are high of people who just don't want to get married. Is it? Do you believe it's the fear? Because it almost seems like, in my opinion, that divorce is almost inevitable now. You know, rather than
you know what's gonna happen.
What's that?
It's not a matter of if it's gonna happen. It's when. Right. Like that's the mentality these days with divorce. So people are now just co-living, and they don't want to get married now. Right. You know. Do you believe that mentality is full force now? Not right now. Was thinking that, you know what, divorce is just inevitable. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's sad, man. Yeah. Like after I got a divorce, I kind of had that mentality. I'm like, because I feel like I went through hell, man. I took financial losses. Lost my kids. You know, everything, and I feel like I literally got casted down to hell, and I boxed with the devil and lived to tell about it. Like that's literally how I felt. So after that, I was like, man, I ain't never getting married again. And, you know, I might just have to find me a woman that just understands that. And, you know, I'm not going to take no financial losses anymore. Because, you know, I took L's, but I built myself back up. And, you know, I have an abundant mentality. Like I lose. A lot of guys have a mentality that's scarce. They're like, well, I'm afraid to lose. I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid to lose what I've gotten. In my mind, I'm like, not only am I going to get that back, but I'm going to exceed it because God got me. I'm me. I'm ambitious. And, you know, you take the biggest L's, but you recover. But so I didn't really have that mentality anymore because it inflicted me for a while where I was like, I'm not getting married. It's not worth it. Just the risk of it, having children and not being divorced and being with a woman who you don't want to be with anymore, or you're just settling in a loveless relationship. So you do decide to get a divorce, but then you take all these L's financially. And it's just like, you want to live a good life. You know, money isn't everything, but I'd rather be miserable with money than be miserable and broke. You know, so that's true. I mean, I can make it. I can make something shake. I need to make a living. I don't want to live out of a box. I don't want to. So definitely for men, man, I think, and I've spoken to a lot of men about getting married. And more and more men, they don't want that. And more women, they don't necessarily want it, but they'll accept it because they know that they don't really have anything to lose anyway. You know, because either way, they may love a guy and be passionate about their family, but they know that the court is they're gonna get the kids. They know that they're gonna get child support. So it's like, well, if it don't work out, I got a blanket. Men don't have a blanket. Like no one's gonna save us. We have to get out the mud. We have to put in the work and grind to put ourselves back. And a lot of more and more men don't want to get married because they feel like they're going to take a financial loss. Hard loss. Into a man. You want to hurt a man? Like you can say anything you want to us. You can slander us, but that's not going to bother us. What's going to bother us, how you get to a man is getting to his pockets. Financially, that's a man's weakness. I mean, you know, like, so women don't have that liability. Besides being heartbroken, which, like I said earlier, time heals all wounds. Like you can meet another guy and forget about that guy, but you still getting child support. You still, the man is still, takes some years to get back at a certain standard. And it's just like, if I've built a business and I get married, that definitely is in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm going to lose everything if this doesn't work out. So this has to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it drives me crazy, versus a woman is like, well, I don't want to get a divorce, but if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm still good.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, because I'm going through that in my own life. I mean, I've been divorced now for 10 years and I'm still financially paying for that divorce in every aspect you can think of.
Yeah.
And like I said, the ugliness of that woman really came out, you know, and
it's disappointing too, because you like to think you didn't fall in love and procreate with the individual like that. But they always say you really don't know an individual until you know them. Yeah. And it's like, or you know every side of them. Yeah. And it's just, you got to know who you're dealing with, I guess. But sometimes you can't always predict that. Yeah. Sometimes you're like, she's the one, and you're so decisive about your decision. But where you really learn about someone is if, like, not hurt them intentionally, but say you accidentally offend them or hurt them, seeing their reaction. You got to see the purity of their heart. Yeah. And there's some people that can't control their anger, and when they feel betrayed, or they feel like, well, I don't have anything to lose anyway. I don't have to respect this man no more. He's not my husband. Yeah. So, and then that comes out, or vice versa. So yeah, man, it's scary, man. Like, but at the same time, to counter that, I still want to get married. Yeah. You know, I still, there's even before I met my woman, like, I'm like, there's a woman out there who deserves love. I want to go out there and I want to give my love, because I love hard, man. Yeah. Like, I'm an Aries. Yeah. You know, real passionate, I show love on a different level, man. When I love you, when I say I love you, this is like whether relationships or friends. When I love you, I fiercely love and protect. Yeah. Like, I look out for my own. Yeah. So when I was single or whatever, I'm like, I still want to love the hell out of a woman, and I want to be able to just experience that again, like. Because love is a hell of a drug, man. And it's good. Like, everyone, we're humans. We need companionship. Yep. I don't care how independent you are. Yeah. It could be a woman that's a CEO for like a Fortune 500 company who goes home every night and she hugs her dog. Yep. And she wants a man, you know. She wants somebody. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody wants somebody. Think about Adam and Eve. We weren't designed to be alone. We're not solitary creatures. Yep. We're designed to have companionship and love. So I had my little moments where I was like, nah, I ain't getting married again. Yeah. But ultimately, I still do. But this time, I'm going to be more selective, more diligent. I'm no longer that young 25. Yeah, right. Like, I feel like actually I should be getting married right now. Like, I feel like I have the temperament for it, the patience for it. I'm wiser. I'm more decisive. I know what I want. Yeah. Versus 25, man. If I could tell my 25-year-old self, I mean, things would be different. Yeah. But I also don't regret it, because, you know, I wouldn't have certain things now. Yep. That
tells a lot of value of a man, where you know the ugliness of what potentially could happen with divorce and unfaithfulness and all this. So even though you know that stuff, you still want to get married. You know, you still want that connection, that, you know.
A woman still deserves that. Yeah. You know, like, that's like, you know, not to put her business out there, but my girlfriend, before she met me, she was in a very bad situation. And she could have easily just written it off. Yeah. But if she did, she would have never gave me an opportunity to change the narrative. Yeah. Because she went through hell in that situation. But with me, we're not perfect, but shit, it's our heaven. You know what I mean? Yeah, so absolutely. It's definitely. I don't feel like you should make people suffer. Yeah. For other situations that other people put you in. You know, you can be inflicted by something. You could be heartbroken. You could have fears or insecurities. But at the end of the day, that person didn't do it to you.
Yeah.
That person, the new person standing in front of you, they didn't do it to you. If anything, just be transparent about those weaknesses.
Yep.
And then have them understand it thoroughly. And then they can help you overcome them, not only by showing you that they're not that person, but also supporting you and understanding you and making you a better individual overall.
Yeah. Man, Lambert, I'm telling you, man, this has been a very great discussion, man.
Oh, yeah.
I really, I've learned a lot today, actually, man. Because there's things, you're a very good storyteller, man. And we definitely have to do a part 2 of this, man. We definitely have to do a part 2.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to give you the floor now, Lambert. And we're gonna wrap this up. But I want you to give us a final thought, man. Yeah, give us a final thought, man.
Man, if I can just construct like a final thought, I would just tell everybody, everybody just slow down. We're moving in a world that's just so fast.
Yeah.
Everyone is like scrambling all over the place and, doing things recklessly and trying to get to their destination in the quickest way and trying to go through shortcuts and not just dealing with the perseverance of getting to a place. Yeah. Like when I say slow down, I mean slow down, drive slow. Take the scenic route in life. Don't always take the route that you think is the quickest. Take the scenic route, stop and enjoy the view, and just really enjoy the journey of just getting there.
Man.
And you will, don't be so focused on like the destination. The destination's gonna be there. Be focused on the journey. Be focused on the people you run into. Be focused on how certain things made you feel. Stop and smell the flowers. Appreciate the flowers. Look at the clouds. Look and see how the clouds are beautiful, how the sun's shining, how the weather feels like, how the birds are flying in the air, just the whole vibe. And it'll really embark and touch your spirit. So then when you do get to the destination, you're more fulfilled and more ready for your next journey. So if that's the final thought of the day, man, that'll be it. Just slow down. And just take it all in.
That's great advice, man. That's really good advice. And sometimes we have to do that, especially nowadays where everything is so fast. Fast paced, everything, fast food, fast marriages, fast relationships. It's good to slow down and really absorb everything.
If it's for you, it's gonna be there. If it's for you, you're not gonna miss it. So many people think, oh, I gotta hurry up and do this. Like, there's no time limit to anything. We all do things on our time. Or we should at least. So
awesome, man. Well, Lambert or TJ, I really appreciate you being here, man. I want to thank you for doing this, and everyone who's want to learn more about TJ's business. I will put a link of his Facebook profile underneath this video. So give him a click, give him a chance, check him out. He's a great guy, great dresser, great personality. He's trust me, man, it's going to be awesome.
You're too kind.
Thanks again, man. You've been listening to elvinpizarro.com. Please check out my link on the description of this website for more podcasts. And you can listen to this podcast on Apple, Google, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You have a blessed day.
Peace.